Right, let's see. Oh, Kristen, I see you. Let me just see. Should be able to. See if that worked. There you
Hello.
are. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Man, I don't even think anybody is awake right now. It's so early.
What time is it there for you?
It's 8:30, but it's like a prime. Either they sleep till 10 or they're driving to work, right?
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited to like try this out. I haven't done it live in, oh gosh, a long time, and not on Instagram. Used to
Okay.
do a lot of lives on Facebook, not Instagram.
Right. Okay. Yeah, fun. Yeah, I know we're just kind of leaning into taking inspired action. And so I know we didn't really share with a lot of people that we were going to be doing this, but whoever listens, it'll be fun to catch our conversation.
That's honestly that's how I look at it. If anything, it's just like a good practice to, well, first of all, connect, right? And second
Yeah,
of all, just talk about what we talk about. So, and you never know. Maybe we'll use some of that video and some of the reels or something or whatever. The ideas come up, they flow, the channeling happens.
I love
We'll see.
it. I love it.
Let me see you. What are the options here? Just because I'm like, what what does it do on the lives? So there's join. Okay, there's moderators commenting. Okay, not very much. Okay, and then there's like some kind of random. What does that do? Oh, it
Oh,
makes it snow. There you go. I found it. It's pretty much how it is outside. Like you can barely see it. Let me just turn. But you can see like it's snow outside.
yeah.
I don't know where you are.
Where are you located?
I'm just in Canada, Alberta.
Oh, you're in Alberta. Okay, I'm in Toronto.
Right. That's
So
awesome.
we've,
Yeah,
I
more
mean,
Canadians.
not really, but kind of snow. Not real snow.
So tell me a little bit more about what it is that you do, because like we talked about, I'm on the marketing funnels, automations, nerd things, and you're more on the sales side. So what part of sales? What is it that you teach people?
Yeah, so I am mostly focused on B2B sales. So supporting whether it's service providers, individual contributors, directors, managers of sales to help them to essentially drive more revenue. And I work with both entrepreneurs and executives. So whether that is a small business owner who is passionate about their idea but not really sure how to sell it into the
Mhm.
world, or also on the, I guess, more mature organizational side where I work with sales leaders who have sales teams, helping to support their team and their individual contributors to drive more sales, drive more revenue, drive more opportunities and engagement with clients. So that is how I contribute and operate in the sales strategy. So yes, within the entrepreneur community, helping them to develop and execute and coach them through sales, because I really believe that sales is a skill we can develop. It's just
Mhm.
something that for a lot of us is new and unfamiliar, so we aren't really sure where to start. And then for those who are even more seasoned sales experts, there's always room for growth. There's an opportunity to really lead and develop your leadership skills too, as a means to expand and grow your selling skills.
Yeah, and yeah, I talk to my team all the time when it comes to marketing and sales, right? Um, People often just don't get it. Like they just don't they heard someone say something and they identify that as a problem, but they don't actually know if it is. Same with like with the
Mm,
word marketing, right? A lot of the people they say it, they kind of think they understand what it means, but a lot of the time they attach the word marketing to getting clients, which is that's a little stretch.
it's a
Like
well,
you're
it's a
you're
step on the
yeah,
path to, and
yeah,
I love that you bring that up because I think you're right. I think this distinction between marketing and sales can get really, really blurry for many.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And so when you talk about helping B2B with sales, so by the way, for those of you who are watching, B2B is business to business. So if you're selling
Thank you.
services offerings or products to other businesses. That is you. I know sometimes we can use technical words, and I like explaining those. And is it that, like, tell me more. Like, I'm dying to know. Is it the sales conversations? What part of the processes? Is it the whole ecosystem, the people development? Or I was saying you literally just take care of the whole developing, like actually hiring people to be salespeople. Like, which parts are you nerding out on? Because
Yeah.
that's what I am. I'm a
Yeah, great
nerd.
question. I love that question actually, though. Like, what am I nerding out on? Because that came up with a client who was really stuck with how he wanted to get clarity on, like, how to, he wanted clarity on his messaging and got really caught between two ideas. And I said to him, like, what can you not shut up about? Like, which one of those
Yes.
lights you up so much that you just like cannot stop talking about it? Like, start there, like, lean into that, right? So I love the way you like framed that question back. Like, what do you nerd out on? I think the biggest thing for me, what I'm learning is there's kind of two sides to selling that I wish someone had told me. So, really, really quick background. I spent, oh gosh, better part of 12 years in the technology industry in a sales role. So, selling B2B, starting in the hardware software space, and then moving into cloud services and software as a service. So, selling both, yeah, hardware, software, and cloud. And, you know, in that, no one ever talked about mindset.
Mm,
Like, we never actually talked about mindset. We talked about like numbers, we talked about how to, close our gaps to our quotas. We talked about, gosh, getting training on product, on, different offers that we had within the organization, but we never really talked about like what it took to like get to another level that started with your thinking. And so I absolutely can nerd out on, what is it that you believe to be true, and what is it that you need to believe to be true to go after that next level of sales, or that next level of income, or that next level of role, or whatever it might be. So I can get really, really excited about supporting clients on breaking through limitations and ceilings that they've actually created themselves that are keeping them from being successful. So that is a big part that I really love on the coaching side, to really dive
mhm,
into and really uncover and help to get people out of their own way, essentially, right? And so once we do that, then we can get into more of that, I guess you could say, consulting aspect, or the tangible tactical type of parts that I can get really excited and jazzed about. And a lot of that will just come from absolutely my experience, knowing how to guide a client through a sales process, understanding what the sales process is. I think there's a kind of a misconception that, and we can maybe talk about this, but marketing generates a lead and then it should be like sold or like
Magic.
sign here, done, right? And so starting to really understand what a sales cycle looks like and what that might look like for you, because it's going to look different business to business, and sometimes even person to person, depending on the nature of the business that you're in and the product or service that you're selling. So I also really like to kind of nerd out on that strategy execution piece and really challenge people's thinking that if we really believe in what we're selling, like, our presence is different, we show up different, we speak differently, and we can start to really think about impactful and
Mhm,
powerful outreach. Get clarity on how we're building a pipeline and what that even means, right? And I know I'm using some jargon here, but the pipeline essentially being that group of leads, or that those opportunities that we want to move and actually close a deal and sell, right? So moving into some of that more kind of, I guess, keys to success, or those tactics and tools that you need to move the client from marketing, from lead to close. Because, like I said, I think sometimes we want to just jump or assume or think we're failing if we're not at 100% close rate. And again, that is not true, and kind of goes back a bit to the mindset piece. But how can we actually build a strategy to improve your close rate, to understand what your close rate even is, to impact or to expand or to find new opportunity, rather than feeling you're kind of like hitting your head against the wall. So
I
anyway, I
gotta
just kind of
also
gave you
say, I gotta
a long
say
story,
that
a long answer to your question.
the 100% close rate, what bullshit. If you're closing 100% of people that you have a conversation with, you're doing something wrong. your product is too cheap or you're giving too much. There's something wrong with your offering.
Yeah.
There's you gotta find people who say no.
Yeah. I I really love that. There's absolutely different schools of thought around what the like what your target or your ideal close rate should be. But without giving it a number, because I'm curious what you think. I think on the other side of that, though, you hit the nail on the head. Like I think something really important for people to hear is hearing no is part of the
Yeah.
like hearing no is a good thing. Hearing no isn't failure. Hearing no isn't the opposite of success. Like hearing no is like great, next I haven't like let's next like next at bat, right? Like I'm getting up to the plate again. That person was not either the right fit, or I, you're making room for the right client or the right opportunity, the right business to come your way. I love that you highlighted that, no is not a bad thing. I think to your point, this idea of
Oh,
like
absolutely.
closing every single opportunity that comes our way, is not realistic. And like you said, there's something in your business model that needs to change. So when you think about close rate, do you have a like what would you say is success? Again, I know there's different schools of thought on what
Hmm.
that ratio should be. I mean, I think it's important that we're aware of what it is. That's like step one. If I'm coaching someone
100%.
from a sales
If you
perspective,
don't
let's just
measure, you
figure out
don't
what it
succeed.
is.
Yeah, that's
Sorry?
kind of like I always say, if you don't measure, you don't succeed. Like
Yeah.
you need to have a measuring stick, right? And I think depending on what we're talking about. So like in marketing, I do online marketing primarily. And when you look at the online marketing efforts, right, they can look very
Yeah.
different. So there's different closing rates when it comes to doing a webinar versus you doing a Facebook ad. Because a
Yes.
Facebook ad shows up in front of a person who have never seen you before, so if we say close rate is them signing up to your low ticket offer, like 27 bucks or 47 bucks, like, man, if you get 5%, that's incredible. That's incredible. Like, that's unbelievable. That's unheard of in the industry. But if you're doing a live event or a webinar to people who know you, right, have seen you, have met you in some way, that's completely different conversation. 5% would be a failure.
Yeah.
That means it offer sucks, or you didn't present it, you didn't answer questions. So there's something that didn't resonate with the audience.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, I'm more looking, in my experience, and what I like to see is like 25, 35%.
Yeah.
And for those
Yeah. I was
of
gonna.
you
Yeah.
who like, I want to highlight for those who are going to watch this, who think that 25, 35% is a failure, again, you're not making enough offers. That's what it comes to. You're not making enough offers. You're not talking to enough
Yeah.
people. You're not saying, here's my stuff enough times.
Yeah.
And that's why you think that that's a failure, because getting all those no's is going to help you like really hone in on the people who your ideal people who are sitting there and waiting to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, some are not a fit. Some will get there eventually. You got to realize that too. People are at different stages, different questions, different problems. And so eventually they will step into needing your services,
Yeah.
and you will close them anyways. And I love that you were talking about the cycles, right? And I think the living in the, especially talking about 2025, living in the age of instant gratification
Mm-hmm.
has become so hard for entrepreneurs to really come to peace with the idea that it is going to take you some time to turn a prospect into a customer.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a hey, it's $10,000 and people take out the money and just throw it at you. It might have been like that at some point, but it's not like that anymore. People get bombarded with marketing
Yes.
messages. They see 20 influencers that they follow that offer very similar things. The decision making process is extremely complicated, because how do you decide between 10 people that all talk about business and can help you with the problem and they're about the same price point, right? Right? And you like them all. So how do you pick one? Because you're not going to sign up to all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
It is more
Okay, so a
complicated than
question for
ever.
you. So we met in a coaching,
Mhm.
a business group coaching program. What was your, I'm just curious, like
Yeah.
what do you feel? I think you may bring up a really good point, right? I really believe there's a coach for everybody out there. I really believe that. Like doing your homework, and actually, by the way, most of that homework is like inside, like what is it that you
Yes.
really need, what is really like the sticking point. And often when we get really excited about somebody else is because I'm kind of answering the question, but it's because we see something that we actually have inside of them that we're like, how do we bring more of that out of ourselves? So I'm just answering the reason why I chose to join the group coaching program that we're a part of. But what was for you the deciding factor when you think about all the other business coaches out there?
Yeah, and this is not my first rodeo. I've had business coaches for a long time, different programs, one-to-ones, doesn't matter what kind of offer it is. I probably have done most of the types of offers
Okay.
that exist. There is not very much innovation happening, let's be honest. um, and it's the right problem at the right time
Mm-hmm.
and with the right personality. So I always look at the mindset piece, like it's number one. You mentioned that mindset is so important. So for me too, when it comes to deciding who I hire as my business coach, because that's going to affect my business, my life, my relationships, everything, my finances, right? Is number one thing that I look for is who's going to be a good match with how I show up. So in my case,
Mm.
I'm a master bullshitter. You can throw anything at me and let me just come up with that BS on why I'm not doing it, why it's not happening.
Ah,
So
okay.
I knew that Dan is going to be a person to call it
Right.
out because that's how he shows up. Even in
Yeah.
his videos, in his book, in the events, I've met him a long time again. He always shows up in the way where he doesn't let people get stuck in their BS belief system, right? He doesn't let you get stuck. He calls it for what it is. And I can
Yeah.
appreciate that. And it's not for everybody. I worked with some gentle souls. They would not be able to handle this. This would crush them. And for me, that's exactly what I need. And talking about the right problem in the right time.
Yeah.
In my business, I find that I always have been hitting the same ceiling when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the revenue, the team size, all of those things. So I knew that at the foundation, I'm missing something. So there's some kind of, whether it's mindset or education or some kind of piece that I just turn a blind eye to. And so I actually ended up reading Dan's book, Buy Back Your Time,
Yep.
again. And I realized that when it comes to the replacement letter that he talks about a lot, so who to hire in what order and what they need to be doing and what they have to take off your plate, mine was backwards. And I was like, okay, I gotta fix it. But also, the number one reason why people should hire a coach, I didn't want to take another 5 years to figure it out.
Mm.
Fastest path to getting what I want is just someone giving me the resources, the community, the mindset, the coaching on exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
So it's still going to take time. And even if it takes a year, it's still not 5 years.
Yeah.
And I really value that. I'd rather pay for someone to show me, to teach me, to call me out, to give me the resources now than for me to try to figure it out, watch YouTube videos, read another book, read a book again, try to come up with something on my own, see if it works. The trial and error is a brilliant way to learn, and it's one of the longest ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
There's so many nuggets in what you just shared. Like like so many nuggets. Okay, so first thing I just want to like call out is what you just shared around like coaching collapses time. Like if you can find the right coach for you, to your point, what you might have taken you 5, we don't know, maybe longer years, you can maybe get done in 5 months, maybe get done in a year. You're still winning. That's still 20% of the
Mhm.
time that it otherwise would have taken you, let alone the frustration, the tears, the lack of direction, all the other energy that you would have poured in without the right. So I love that idea of it collapsing time because at that point too, I believe like the return on investment is so significant because it's almost impossible to measure because of all the other, yes, one, you moved faster. I don't really know how we measure that, let alone the revenue that you can maybe generate and track back to that, let alone what you said at the very beginning, which I think is super powerful, is you said looking for someone that it's not just your business, it's also your relationships, it's also your finances, it's also your health, it's also right, like Yes, we hire coaches to help us, often support us in one area of our life, but you're right. How we do one thing is how we do everything. So if we can find the person that really calls us out on our BS, right? And here we're talking about belief system, right? Or really challenges us to work, like to try that new thing or get uncomfortable or take that, like that risk. Like those almost intangible, like becoming aware and really leaning into that other side of like it's your whole everything benefits.
Yeah.
Everybody wins around you, not just your business. So I love that you really are experiencing like that integrated aspect of coaching where it's like all aspects of our lives are being impacted if we really show up and commit to doing the work regardless of who it is that we think best suits us. um, and you also I think called out that, like I said, there were so many gems in what you said, and I think to take it back to the sales and marketing conversation, you also hit the nail on the head, like the right problem, the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think that goes back to that idea of, posting to Instagram should take care of like sorry Instagram, but posting to Instagram should take care of your sales and your marketing and or marketing and sales like in one
Right.
foul swoop. It's like I posted, they buy. And it's like marketing and sales are there's so much more nuance there. And to your point, you've got to find the right person at the right time to solve the right problem. I have a mentor that we cross paths in the technology industry. Both have become coaches, and we meet about once a month. And he's always reminding me of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to find the right person that's got the problem that you solve at the right time. So when you're feeling that stickiness around following up, doing outreach, engaging in people to kind of move them or nudge them along the sales cycle, having that difficult conversation to, handle an objection. Like every time, like you're getting closer to finding those people that you can really serve and you can really help that need you right now.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the reason. So when we look at like Dan and some of the other people in the industry, they post a lot on social,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
while they do use it as a sales mechanism, a lot of it in order to, when the right time comes, that Instagram actually does show their content to that person.
Yes.
Because it's all about, I mean, I don't claim to know the algorithm. Like algo is crazy. Nobody really knows. We just
We're
fabricate
all,
on what we think it
yeah.
is. But it is really designed to show the right content at the right time, right? So if you are creating the right content, even if it's not the right time for the person you're talking to right now, it will come up when it is. And that's what I
Yes.
love about social is you can create a piece of content and 3 years from now someone finds it and they'll end up working with you. And I don't do much social. I'm just getting back into it and starting to be more active and producing more content now. But even I experienced that with very little content that I have done so far, where people would find that one video from 3 years ago and then message me and say, hey, do you still do business coaching?
Yeah.
Do you still do marketing? Do you still do web design? And guess what? Chances are either I'm doing it or I know someone.
It
So
does.
I
Yeah.
can create value to my network and refer them to
Yeah.
them. So that's what I love about content creation is it creates opportunities that we don't even think about anymore in the future.
I'm really glad that you shared that because I find with this is going to be obviously in the more in the entrepreneur space than the kind of executive leader account executive in sales, but when we are creating content in support of our community, in support of our network, in support of our brand, in support of our business, sometimes it can feel what's the word I'm looking for, like every time you're throwing something out there, it's kind of getting thrown away. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the, I, like, not, I was, I'm losing the word I want. It's on the tip of my tongue, but in any event, where sometimes it can feel like we post something, no one sees it, so it was a waste, right? Or,
Mm.
or we share something, no one shows up, so what was the point? And then people get caught and they're like, well, then why create content anyway? Right? If no one's going to see it. But I really love your perspective around you never know when, first of all, when someone needs to hear what you have to say, but two, that content continues to live on, and again, right time, right place, right problem, so to speak, the right person is going to see that, and they're going to call you regardless of, like you said, if maybe your business is pivoted, we can refer them to somebody in our network that is doing the thing they need help with. Like, you can still be of value, and that thing that you created 3 years ago that got you excited and that you wanted to share with the world, that energy and that passion, that's still going to be felt.
Yeah.
It isn't a throwaway. Like, I don't know if you felt that or if you experienced that with your clients, but I do find sometimes we can get caught in this. There's just so much content out there. Who am I
But it's
to
not
create more?
you.
Sorry?
But it's not you.
Yes.
That's kind of the thing is when I talk to my clients, one of the things that I have mindset conversations around a lot is yes, there's absolutely people out there who sell what you sell, who do what you do. They probably even have the same values and similar systems, different names, sometimes even same names. But the truth is, it's still not you. Every human has gone through a life of experiences, belief systems, relationships, things that have affected them and created them as they are now.
Yeah.
And no human is the same because none of
Hmm.
us have lived an identical life minute by minute. So we share different things, but we also share them in different tonality, with an accent, right? In a different way, with different stories. And it resonates completely different to different people.
Yeah.
Like I always give an example. I have public speaking background. I've done a lot of public speaking, selling from stages, traveled the world doing that, sold whatever, millions of dollars worth of services and coaching programs. And people are always like a little bit kind of tilt their head and surprised. And I was like, and I'm gonna tell you right now, and I did all of that in the same t-shirt and pair of jeans, and nobody gave a shit. They still bought. So if you're worried about your look, the makeup, that one mole you have on your face, your hair, the wrinkles, whatever comes, the weight, whatever comes up for you, none of that affects the person who is being affected by what you say
Mm.
and the stories that you share. They still get a lot of value out of that. And it's the same, this live is a great example. We had only a handful of people jump on, and I don't care because at the end of the day, those people jump on for however long they jumped on, they got what they got out of it, and the seed is planted,
Yeah.
even if they didn't stay for the whole thing. So now, when something comes up for them, question, Facebook ad, a post, them doing something in their business, it will pop in their mind, oh, Kat and Kristen.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, is to plant the seeds so that people, when it comes to marketing, people start remembering who you are, where you are, and how to find you. It's
Yeah.
not to get to know everything about you in the matter of half an hour, right? And buy in the matter of half an hour. And this is where, coming back to the instant gratification world, it's very, very tough for people to realize that now. That it's
Well, and
not you trying
you,
to push someone into a sale.
yeah, well, you actually reminded me of something I really believe, like, as almost like as a sales, I guess you could say, philosophy or sales point of view, is that kind of no different than your example of being on stage and speaking, right? You can stand on stage and speak and worry about what you look like, or worry if you, I don't know, how, what you sound like all these external things. You can stand on stage and worry about all of that, but the truth is, it's like, it's not about you. The person
Mhm.
listening to you is not, like you said, that is not what they're listening for. That's not what they're filtering through. They're filtering through their own experience, their own lens, to capture or grab any nuggets of wisdom or inspiration, or, like you said, sharing stories that get them going, ooh, maybe I could do that, maybe, like, right? And so I feel like the same thing comes up in sales a lot, where people that are new to sales, this also reminds me of the other nugget that you dropped around the replacement ladder, how people like want to run away from sales, and they try to replace or outsource sales right away. And I'm like, no, 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 this should be at the end. But the idea of sales, like, it's not about you. Like, as soon as you can stop worrying about you being the seller and get curious about them and understand their pain and ask them questions and lead them. All of a sudden you're not worried about what you look like, you're not worried about what you're offering, like the selling, this I don't know, kind of cloud kind of clears when you start to focus on the client over yourself. And I think that that was a really great example too of speaking, marketing, whatever it might be, that that external stuff we got to let that all go so that we can really be of service and really powerfully communicate with our client, whether that is through marketing or sales efforts.
Absolutely.
So I know, and I
Kristen,
know we're getting close to time.
I
Oh,
was
we
gonna
are
say,
right at time.
I know you gotta jump off. I really appreciate you doing this with me anyways this
Yeah,
morning. It's been
I
a
think
lot of
that's a
fun.
great place to finish too. Just continuing to connect on the inside, whatever it is that you're up to, right?
Yeah, and I hope we continue connecting. I'm gonna keep trying to do those lives and stuff and learning.
Yeah.
So we'll have
Best
to
of
do it
luck.
again.
Okay. All
Awesome.
right.
Have a good
Have a
one.
great day.
Bye.
Bye.